Even though we were just talking like 2 minutes ago. But we have to let everyone in the audience know that we're doing good. So yeah, doing good. It's a beautiful Wednesday and all this fun stuff. And you threw me a curveball today and decided, I'm gonna change up what I do. We need to review some. We need to do. I want to hear your pitch though of Crystal Skull someday.
I don't know how to change it.
You don't know how to change it?
It's already a classic Indiana Jones adventure.
You know what? I really was like, it was because I was the same. I was like, it's awful. I'm gonna hate it.
It was terrible when I watched it the first time, and now it's like, that wasn't a bad movie.
It was, and I love how they filmed it like the old movies. I was like, so either I'm just getting old.
The only real issue I had was Shia LaBeouf.
I kind of loved some of his antics though. It was so cheesy.
Some of it, but like,
it just felt so old, and honestly, I'm like, I liked it, but then it did get. I don't know. I think learning more about the Cold War, I kind of was like, I forgot that was what she was going for. So, I don't know. Maybe someday we can do that. It makes me want to go see the new one. Interview reviews of it be darned. So,
yeah, my buddy Lent said that it's not terrible. So.
Okay. Again, though, if I look at all the movies, they're not like. It's just Indiana Jones. They're not like. I think the only one I really am like, I want to sit down and watch this super, super bad is Temple of Doom. No.
Last Crusade.
The Last Crusade. The one with his dad. We named the dog Indiana. Like, I just love that.
Last Crusade. I don't know. The Raiders of the Lost Ark is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Those two are my favorites.
I think the nostalgia goggles, definitely. You wear those and you'll be happy. I don't mind putting nostalgia goggles on once in a while. Definitely can sometimes make the movie even better. Like Spider-Man No Way Home. Loved it. So, next you want to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I think I'm going to do real soon. Because there's a few things about that movie that I'm like... So, even back when I watched that with my girlfriend in high school, I was like... Like, I went to the premiere night with her. So, yeah, that was fun. That was a fun date. That was a good date. And everyone here is going, what?
Yep.
We don't need to hear about my sad life. But Tim, what are you blessing us with today? And I didn't get the chance to watch it, so I'm coming in blind with you folks. So,
well, and this is going to be a bit of a roller coaster because I'm not as prepared as I wanted to be. But
says after saying he did 5 hours of putting rewrites and stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna review Star Wars: The Force Awakens. This is episode 7 of Star Wars. A lot of people were really, really disappointed in these last 3 movies.
I haven't even seen the last one. That's how disappointed I was.
It could be worse. I'll say that. It can always be worse.
And we're here to suggest a few things that they could have done better.
Yep. Yeah. One thing I will say is I'm not here to step on toes, especially if you are really, really into Star Wars and you're one of the lore seekers. You look for the lore and you know it inside and out. I'm sorry. I might step on toes.
Are you one of those people, Tim? Do you know the lore pretty well? Because I am not. I haven't seen Rebels. I haven't seen... Bless you. Someone's out in the hall just dying of a sneezing fit.
I can't say that I am to the same level as some people.
Okay.
I have watched all of the movies. Not all of them are great. I've seen most of the Clone Wars. I'm in the last season of the Clone Wars. I've seen a little bit of Rebels, most of Mando, all of Book of Boba Fett. So like I really love Star Wars. I grew up watching Star Wars.
It's
classic. And my dad, this was the show that my dad would make us watch whenever he wanted to do movie night.
Oh.
Whenever we wanted to do movie night, we would choose Star Wars too. Like he drilled into us the fact that Star Wars is awesome, and so we got to the point where we were asking, "Can we watch Star Wars?" And so I don't know. It's just classic. Everybody knows who the Jedi are. Everybody knows what a stormtrooper is.
Everyone knows who Darth Vader is.
Everybody knows Darth Vader.
He is probably right next to Spider-Man as the most recognizable figure in the world.
Yeah.
You have Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Those three you can take to most countries, and you'll recognize them. Darth Vader might be at the very top of that, if I remember. Like, you see his face.
I want to say he is.
And it's Star Wars.
I don't know. Darth Vader.
Ooh.
Amazing film. Amazing story altogether. I don't know. But we're not here to talk about Darth Vader. We're going a little bit past his time.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Galaxy far, far away. Well, same galaxy as Darth Vader.
Oh, that's true.
Same galaxy, but, you know. So, let's begin.
All right.
I'm not... So, I'll preface this. I spent a good 4 or 5 hours today. I had the movie on in the background, and I was writing.
Okay.
I already had a couple rewrites for these movies because I wanted Star Wars. I wanted a good story that was solid, that didn't have a whiny, angsty teen as a villain, and you know what I mean?
So I have a question for you. Sorry, not to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
I was in a totally different country when this came out. I saw posters for it while I was there, but couldn't go see it. But I just missed the whole buzz, and it actually got spoiled to me about Han Solo getting killed. Spoiler, sorry everyone. So it's
been out long enough. You should know by now.
It's been almost a decade, but anyway. So you were here in America. You were what, in junior high school?
I'm trying to remember. I
want to say 2014-ish. So I think Christmas of 2014. No, 2015. It was 2015.
Yes.
Christmas of 2015.
Because it was the first year I lived up in this area.
Okay.
We had just moved 6 months earlier.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyway. No, so what happened is my dad says, "Hey, we're going to go see Christmas lights."
Okay.
Everybody get in the car. It was me and my brothers, my stepmom and her kids were doing I can't remember if my stepbrother came with us or not. I'm sorry. I just can't remember if he came.
They're gonna listen to you and be like,
how could you forget? It was like 6 years ago.
8? No. Yeah, 2023. That's gonna be 8 years this gosh. Christmas.
No, hold on. That can't be right.
Tim.
I think
I was in another country, and there's only 2 years I was in that country.
You're right. This was before my dad got married. We were still living anyway. Context of the story. I don't remember everything. I'm sorry.
Your step siblings are gonna be pissed.
Well, and my dad's gonna laugh at my lack of remembering. Your lack of remembrance disturbs me. Anyway, he said, "Get in the car. We're gonna go see the Christmas lights." We get in the car, and he takes us to the movie theater, and we're like, "This isn't the lights. Where are the lights? I thought we were going to Temple Square to look at the Christmas lights."
Yeah.
He's like, "Red and green. This Christmas colors."
I knew. I was like, "Is he gonna do red and green?"
It was red and green. You know, the lasers, the Christmas colors. And so we went in and we watched it, and it was not like it wasn't a terrible movie. I enjoyed it then. The more that I've watched Star Wars, the more that I've gotten into it, and the more that I've grown up a little bit, the more I've realized this movie needed some fixing.
Oh.
I will say this. Episode 7 is the one that I have the least amount of issues with. Out of the 3 sequels, this is my favorite of the 3.
You know, I agree. Like, even watching it, even just having it on the background right here, I'm like, okay. Because I think it really piggybacks off of, this is Star Wars. Mm-hmm. We are bringing you a new cast, and it feels great. And there's a lot of the nostalgia goggles. I feel like this movie knocked it out of the park in theaters. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Did do so well in Ghana, but you know, that's its own thing. But
reasons for that.
But you know, I came home and I watched it, and I wasn't too, I don't know. I was like, oh, okay, Star Wars. It was okay. I just felt like I just got a big repeat. I feel like if I took my glasses off and squinted my eyes, I'm like, am I watching episode 4?
Uh-huh.
So
here's the pattern that I've noticed with Star Wars. Episode 4, the main plot is a droid has important information. They have to take it to the rebels, or they have to take it to the rebels so they can destroy a space station. And while they're trying to destroy the space station, people die, and the most important person that dies is the mentor. The main character's mentor dies. Right? That's episode 4. Episode 1 then comes along, and it's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar in that they have to blow up a space station, and the main character, who is Obi-Wan at that point, his mentor is killed. Right? Qui-Gon's killed.
Yeah.
Then we get episode 7, and it's literally the same thing. Episode 7 is episode 4's baby brother. Right? Because the droid is given very important information. Then the person who gave that information to the droid is captured, has to be rescued later. Then they have to blow up a space station, and while they're on that space station, the main character's mentor is killed, and then they blow up the space station. Right? Like, so it's a repeat. It's good. It is very good for the nostalgia factor. And again, this is not the worst movie out there. When we hit episodes 8 and 9, I'm rewriting the whole thing. Because those were not great.
The only part I remember of, 3 hours. I did not need to sit through 3. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that movie right now.
No, we're not. All I'm going to say is the Luke Skywalker in these 3 is not the Luke Skywalker I grew up looking up to.
Okay, do not get me started on, okay, that's still pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Anyway, so I should probably just get into my pitch.
Yes,
I don't want to. I don't want to keep complaining about Star Wars and all that. I love Star Wars.
Again, this is why we want people to know that we have a passion. These movies, I should say, let you as a Star Wars fan down, and this is why we're doing this. I want to hear what you would have done differently. If you are so passionate about these movies, tell me what you have done differently. So, let's hear it.
So, we're going to start with the opening crawl. You know, for those of you who don't know what the opening crawl is, it is the classic Star Wars thing where they have the words come across the screen, going from the bottom to the top, explaining kind of a little brief history of Star Wars, of the setting, right? That's called the opening crawl. The opening crawl generally has 3 or 4 paragraphs. And the opening crawl in this movie in particular isn't bad. One thing that I will change, the only thing I want to change right now, is Luke Skywalker isn't a coward. He didn't fail and give up. That is not who Luke Skywalker is. Right? Luke Skywalker is a hero. He is one of the most courageous men in the galaxy. And he is so in tune with the Force that in Star Wars Legends, which isn't necessarily canon, but it's still there, Luke has the power to move a freaking black hole to destroy an enemy fleet or an enemy ship.
Dang.
Right, like that is Luke Skywalker.
He is. When I hear Luke Skywalker, I think of one line. And to me it means so much. He says, "I am a Jedi, like my father before me." Mm-hmm. He took the best part of Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, because Darth Vader's not his father. Anakin is. And I know they're the same, but you know what I mean. But you're right. They did him wrong. Even in Mandalorian, they're painting him different than how these movies did. So what we're supposed to... No, this is your pitch. I absolutely...
No,
I will go off. Because you're right. The Luke Skywalker that... I took English courses. I took English courses. And when we talked about the hero's journey, Luke Skywalker was
always the one that my English professors would go to.
It's
every single time.
It's such a good story. Perfect. It's the one of the perfect hero's journeys, and you expect, and I know that sometimes heroes burn out, but they did him so dirty at least like have him have some dignity, or even like a Yoda, but it wasn't even a Yoda deal. No. He was just grouchy.
No, he cut himself off from the Force, and he decided to go live as a hermit and drink blue milk and
from alien booby. It was stupid.
It was weird. It made me uncomfortable, and that's not my Luke Skywalker. The Luke Skywalker I grew up with...
I'm getting you a shirt. Not my Luke Skywalker.
Well, if you do that under it, you have to say Mark Hamill, because Mark Hamill said that. Oh, that was the line that he said.
That's right.
That's not my Luke Skywalker.
They did him so wrong.
Uh-huh.
When the actor of your... Whatever. Nope. I'll go on for hours.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, that's the opening crawl. The opening crawl explains that Fall of the Empire. I'm going to default on what I had written a couple different times in a couple of my different iterations.
Okay.
So here's the opening crawl, right? It starts by saying, after the death of the Emperor and the fall of the Empire, Luke, Leia, and Han went around the galaxy finding Force sensitives to restart the Jedi Order. Fear reigns again in the galaxy. From the ashes of the Empire rise the First Order, a new order, dangerous order, bent on restoring that same order that Emperor Palpatine had instituted. And then it cuts. And there's one sentence after. And unlikely heroes are found in unlikely places.
Aw.
And it's kind of cliche, but I think it would fit for this movie, right? In an entire galaxy, who would think that the heroes would be the heroes, you know?
Yeah.
So in typical Star Wars fashion, we're in space.
No way. Sorry.
No, it's crazy.
Space, the final frontier. Oh, wrong franchise.
It's Star something. But we're in space, right? The opening crawl has finished, and all we see is stars. And then it shifts down towards Jakku. It's kind of the same beginning a little bit. We're going to have Poe Dameron talking to the old man. The old man is going to say something to the effect of, "You can't find that here." Explosion. Okay. So immediately we're hooked. Immediately we're like, what can't we get here? What caused the explosion?
Who is that old man?
And who's the old man? Well, the old man, we'll find out later, is going to be one of the Jedi from the Republic, from before the Empire, who went into hiding.
Okay, so Order 66.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He survived Order 66.
Oh.
I haven't figured out a name for him, but, whatever.
Because there were still a few Jedi who would... There was a lot of Jedi.
There were hundreds of Jedi, and several of them did escape. I mean, look at Obi-Wan and Yoda, right? They escaped. They lived forever. Until they didn't. But yeah, so the explosion will find, from the explosion, we will find a single ship has come to Jakku, to this village. They had followed Poe Dameron because they're looking for the same thing. And you'll figure out where I'm going with this later.
Okay, I'm pretty hooked.
The big thing, right? In the actual movie, it's a map to Luke Skywalker, right?
Oh yeah.
Luke isn't in hiding. Luke is training Jedi.
Oh, in your okay.
Luke is training Jedi. He's not in hiding.
Okay.
Luke sent Poe Dameron to recover this artifact.
So is Poe Force sensitive in your version? Okay, so he's just a mini Han Solo.
He's essentially. And I want him and Han to get along really, really well, but also butt heads a lot.
Poe Dameron and Han Solo. Okay.
So, anyway, back to the First Order has landed. They've started killing people. They bring out the old man, and at the old man's hip, under his robe, just barely, you can catch the glint of his lightsaber.
Oh, and you could totally imagine what the orchestra could do, just some beautiful Jedi music.
And so what we're gonna have is soldiers, First Order stormtroopers, right? They're gonna start coming in at this old man. They know who he is. At this point, they figured it out. Or maybe they know previously.
So
we can leave that up for debate.
Could it be the and if I'm wrong, then the black troopers, the death ones,
Death troopers.
So would those be the ones that are probably out looking for him? Because that's who I imagine in my head. Or do you want
imagining
the Imperial, the New Order,
white stormtroopers?
Okay.
In their white plastic, not good protection armor. I want them to be there in the front. There can be a death trooper or two.
Okay.
But I'm thinking that they show up, they start coming after the old man, and a figure walks out, and we hear.
Okay.
Right? We hear Darth Vader. And so immediately the audience would be like, no freaking way. We know what happened to him. What's going on? Okay? That's how it would go in my head. We watched Darth Vader turn to the light side, and then he died. So who is this imposter? Right? And it'll pan back around, and it'll be Kylo Ren, who I will say, just up front right now, is not Ben Solo. Kylo Ren and Ben Solo are two very different people.
Okay.
They're not the same person. Kylo Ren is an inquisitor. That's what I want Kylo Ren to be. I want him to be an inquisitor who defeated the Knights of Ren, took charge of them, and is now doing the bidding of his master. That's
so I don't know if I should ask because I'm kind of curious. Nope. So Kylo Ren and Ben and Kylo gonna fight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very much.
So there is still a Ben Solo.
Ben Solo still exists. He is not in the dark side. He has not turned to the dark side.
So Kylo Ren and Ben are two separate people. Are they related?
No.
Dang it! I was really hoping to tease something.
Kylo Ren was an inquisitor.
So you really didn't. So you really didn't like Kylo Ren being Ben.
No, not really. Like, it's the poetic justice of Ben Solo killing his father. It's cool. It's somewhat satisfying, but I don't like it personally. It just
kept a cycle going of fathers killing sons, and wow, I feel like we're playing God of War at the second. Jeez, for anyone that plays that game, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But geez, that's a good point. Okay, so Kylo Ren is an Inquisitor. He appears. Cool.
So he appears. The stormtroopers part, right? Military part.
Mm-hmm.
He walks through to the old man and says, "At last I've found you," and then whatever his name is. We'll call him Bob. I like the name Bob for these side characters.
For these side characters, we don't fully get. So we know that. So the fate of Bob, spoiler.
We know the fate of Bob.
We're gonna make this a run-on joke.
Bob is going Jedi Bob.
Jedi Bob.
Maybe it can be spelled B-A-U-B.
Bobby 1.
Bobby 1. Jedi Bob will face Kylo Ren and say, "You have no business here. Leave before it gets ugly." And Kylo Ren says, "I can't do that. Gotta finish the orders from my master. Gotta complete those orders, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I need the key." That's all you're gonna get. End the podcast right now. Okay. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
And I need the key. Give it to me. And Jedi Bob is gonna say the same thing he said to Poe Dameron. "You can't find that here." And now you start to piece together, okay, so that the key to what? What is this key? Okay,
Where is it?
where is it? Where's Rachel? And then Kylo Ren says, well, if you don't have it, I have no point. There's no point in keeping you alive, is there? And he pulls out a double-sided lightsaber.
Oh, Darth Mauling it, huh?
Uh-huh.
So
Well, here's the thing. The Inquisitors, the Emperor's Inquisitors had double-sided lightsabers. They were the ones that spun.
The twist, the I almost said Twisted Sisters. That's a band.
It's a pretty good band.
What are they called? The sisters. There's like,
Well, they're the Inquisitors. They're known as first brother, third brother, whatever.
Yeah, that's
first
it.
Sister, second sister, third sister. So all of those. He's one of them.
okay, so no crossguard.
No.
Okay.
No. So no crossguard. It's a cool lightsaber design. I want to keep that for Ben.
I was about to ask. I'm like, wait a
I wanna
minute.
keep
Wait
that
a
for
minute.
Ben.
Does Ben have it? Please tell me Ben has it.
I'm keeping that for Ben, and it's not going to be red.
Oh. Is he green?
You'll see.
Oh!
You'll just have to wait.
Oh!
You'll have to wait and hear.
Okay.
Anyway, they have a duel. They fight. And it ends up that Jedi Bob yells at Poe, "Get out of here. Your droid knows where to go." And BB-8 knows where to go, right? We gotta have the droid that
You
has
gotta
the
have
answer.
the droid. The droid has
Right.
to be there.
Right. And I personally, I like BB-8. He's a fun droid.
I kind of liked him more than R2D2 for some reason.
I prefer R2 for nostalgia's sake.
If I were to have one of them,
It's
I
R2.
would do BB-8 because he can roll around easier.
Fair.
So,
R2 though.
but R2's
R2's
sass.
invincible.
How are you doing up back there, R2? Wow!
Kiss your mother with that mouth. Sorry, where was I? Oh yes.
So he says your droid knows where to go.
Jedi Bob says, "Get out of here. Your droid knows where to go." Kylo Ren turns to his Death Trooper and says, "Get the droid."
Oh.
And then they have their fight. Poe ends up getting into his ship with BB-8. They start to take off, and the Death Trooper shoots the ship down to the ground. So they've started to take off. I just bumped the table. I really hope it didn't screw it up. They start to take off. And as they start to take off, they're probably 15, 20 feet up in the air at this point. And the Death Trooper takes a shot and blows out the engine, right? And so the ship goes down, crashes into the sand. Poe is knocked unconscious, and BB-8 takes off, just goes, leaves Poe, and it kind of he kind of like goes off. He sits at the top of a hill, looks back, kind of hangs his head a little bit, like BB-8 does.
Yeah.
And then turns and takes off.
Because it's a directive. A droid, robot, whatever you say, they have directives and they go. They are a little, like Star Wars droids are a little different than other robots, but in the end, there's a directive I must follow.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, BB-8's orders at this point are to get to the key, which I'll get to later.
Random question though. Where did BB-8 get do we know how he had got the information, or did he get them from Bob?
He got them from Bob.
Okay.
We will find out he got them from Jedi
Okay,
Bob.
sorry. I did not mean to spoil that. I just didn't want to be like,
you're good.
Dang it. Now I feel bad. But sometimes I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Okay.
No, you're good. He got them from Jedi Bob.
Jedi Bob.
I'm trying to decide whether I want that to be seen at the beginning, where he kind of pats BB-8, and BB-8 goes woo, like he does.
Little homage to homage, whatever. Homage, the homage. We got a homage to Princess Padme. So I like that because I've always loved. Man, I'll tear up if I think about it too much, but honestly, another line of Star Wars that always sticks in my head is "Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope." It is
"Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope."
It's just absolutely wonderful, and just to see her kneel down with that little droid and give him the instructions. So I really think that would have been a good scene. I think people would have loved that at the very beginning. We see like him talking to the droid, patting it, and it going off its way. We're like, "Aw!" So I think that would have been good at the beginning, and then later in the movie, as a flashback, we see him give him the instructions or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so yeah, BB-8 takes off. He's gone. He gone. BB-8 is going to end up in a very similar situation. Obviously, Poe has been captured. Because Kylo Ren wants to know where the directions to the key are. And so he's going to capture him for information. Right? He's not going to just kill him right off. We watch...
Because he assumes that he knows what he knows from the droid. So, yeah.
So as the ship crashes, we'll also pan back to Jedi Bob and Kylo Ren fighting. And Jedi Bob will get his hand cut off.
Oh. In
typical Star Wars fashion, he'll get disarmed.
You always got to get a hand cut off.
Right? Always. It's Star Wars.
It's the rule.
He'll get his hand cut off, and the lightsaber will go flying, and Kylo Ren will pull it back with the Force, and will cut down Jedi Bob right there with his own lightsaber. And then he will pull a General Grievous, and he'll stick it on his belt, where you'll see a couple others.
Okay.
You'll see a couple other lightsabers. Maybe we can make a couple of them recognizable. Maybe we could have Mace Windu's lightsaber in there. Say he recovered it.
Okay.
Just for funsies, I don't know. Just for all those really avid Star Wars lovers, This scene, they were accompanied by a girl. A girl? No.
What? Really? Is she cute? Do you think she like me? Do you think my face too ugly? Sir, I don't know what you look like without that mask. Schwab. Anyway, sorry.
She'll like me shirtless.
I could not stop laughing in the theater.
I know.
That movie was
Ben Swallow.
Ben Swallow. Ben.
I'll give him credit. He's ripped, but
it looks funky. I will admit, I love Adam Driver.
Adam Driver's really
So
good.
would you still have him as Ben Solo?
I would still have Adam Driver be Ben Solo.
Okay, who would you have be Kylo Ren?
I don't know. I kind of want to not have him remove his helmet.
The whole movie. Just pull I don't know, the lady Storm General.
Oh, Captain Phasma?
Yes. I was going to say Phantasma, but I'm like, that's the Batman villain.
If Captain Phasma's going to be in here, which maybe not. I don't know. I'm still debating. We will see her face.
Okay.
We're not just going to see cracked helmet with her eyeball.
It was weird having her be Mandalorian, but also the stormtroopers don't take off their helmet, I guess so. But It was just, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so, oh my gosh, where was I?
We were at
Jedi Bob dies.
They have Poe Dameron.
We cut to Rey. Exact same start for Rey. I like that start. However, instead of a rope that she uses to crawl out of the Star Destroyer, she's force jumping between them. She is a Jedi. Not fully realized, she has force jump. She has the ability to jump.
So she has already been practicing her
She's
powers.
already been practicing.
So she recognizes I'm special.
I'm special. I don't know why. I don't know exactly what all my abilities entail, but I'm special.
So you're pulling so it's very similar to Vin?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So been practicing it, but just need someone to help her. So you agree with most of the Star Wars fandom that she jumped into having the Force way too fast and had way too much power.
I think she's been working at it already.
Okay.
And that's why she's already like, okay, so I can use my abilities like this too? Kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she has some knowledge. I think we see her collecting things, and then we see her force jump. And we still don't see her face. We don't know who she is at all.
I think that'd be awesome. Just so like, I'm imagining she stands like at the edge of the thing, looks down, and you're like, oh, is she going to get down? Like, you think, oh, she's looking at the pretty view, and she just jumps.
And I think it would be really, really funny for as an author, right? The irony of there's a rope there.
Yeah.
I think it would be really funny if there was a rope there and she looks at the rope and she smiles. Well, I guess we wouldn't see her smile, but she looks at the rope, maybe shakes her head no, and then jumps.
Because someone else could have been doing that there, because there were probably other workers.
Well, there are. In the movie, we see, you know, when she and Finn are flying around and the TIE fighters crash, there's other scavengers, and they go straight for it. Straight for the crashed ships. This gave me goosebumps, by the way. Every time I watch it, when Han Solo comes in and
Harrison Ford, I will say, when he plays his characters, he plays them. Like, they may be very similar. Indiana Jones, who wins in a fight? Indiana Jones or Han Solo? I'm sorry, they're the same person. It doesn't matter.
One's got a hat.
One's got a hat, but they are very... Actually, no, I'm sorry. I think Indiana Jones would win in a fist fight.
In a fist fight, yeah, probably.
If we're talking about shooting a gun, I might go with Han Solo. But anyway, that's not the point.
Well, and there is a line that I want to put in this movie that'll solidify that.
Okay.
Later, and I'm spoiling this, just, you know, ahead. Later in the movie, we'll have Han Solo. He will be in the movie. Don't worry.
Okay.
There will be a fight where he is using a blaster, and he shoots, and he's hitting every single stormtrooper, and then he misses one. And the stormtrooper goes, "You missed," and he aims, and Han goes, "Han Solo don't miss," and then something explodes and kills him. I think it would be really funny because it's Han Solo. At this point, he's how old? In his 50s, 60s, whatever, and he's had a lot of time to practice with a blaster.
And he can't depend on like a fist fight anymore, so he needs to just be like
exactly.
So he's a quick draw. He's a quick draw man now. He's a
cowboy.
Star Wars is cowboy and if we think about other like lone figures, samurais, like Star Wars is the best intergalactic samurais and cowboys ever. And that's why I think when they make lightsaber samurais, I'm always like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. If you ever watch Star Wars Legends, there's a few episodes like that. Love them. So anyway,
yes.
This is why I'm bad when I'm the commentator, because I actually love commenting and
there you go.
I love talking.
This scene, one of the guys in my MTC district loved the quote that's coming up. Tell that to Concha Club. That's the quote. Every time we talk about Star Wars, he'd bring it up. So
what's so special about it?
I don't know. He just found it hilarious, and in turn, he got all of us to think it was freaking hilarious.
Tell that to Conja Club.
Conja Club. Yep.
Conja Club.
Tell that to Conja Club.
Tell him.
And he'd always say it with the accent. It was awesome. Beeson, if you're listening, that was freaking awesome. Pillow fell down.
Not the pillow. Not the gumdrop. What? Not the gumdrop buttons.
Okay. Back to the movie. I went like 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in.
But the podcast has been on for I gotta edit because of that goof
We've been
up.
going for probably 45 minutes now. Or longer. Okay, where was I? Right.
Ray. We're introducing to Ray. Ray jumps down and she still is wearing her mask.
I think it would be really cool. She jumps down, still wearing her mask, and she lands in kind of a side, kind of facing the side a little bit, and slides down on a little snowboard down the sand to her speeder.
I love that speeder.
It's a really fun speeder. Anyway, slides down to the speeder, gets on the speeder, loads up her stuff, and then takes off. And when she gets to town, she gives the parts to what's his bucket, the Fatso.
That's my ship.
And at that point, I want to see a slave brand on her arm.
Oh no. I
want Ray to be a slave. I don't want her to just be depending on scavenging to live in general. I want her to be a slave, and that is the only way that she can live.
And is she a slave of the
of Fatso?
Oh,
I'm just calling him Fatso. It starts with a U. I don't remember his name.
His name is Fatso, and I like it.
His name is Fatso.
The alien Fatso.
I want her to have a brand on her arm, a slave brand, and you would be able to recognize it as a slave brand.
Most of humanity understands what a brand means on another human.
Exactly.
It doesn't take much.
I want it to be on her shoulder. And so
old, newish,
old
and stretched
older.
Out, so we know that she was a slave when she was a kid. Okay.
I want her to have been a child.
Oh, Tim!
She was sold into slavery. It's the Anakin Skywalker thing, right? He was a slave. I want Rey to be a slave. Because that sounds really, really bad.
No, but I get what you're saying.
Context.
But it might. But the thing is, there are awful places in the universe, in the Star Wars universe, and that's so sad. And that means you're probably gonna have a flashback of little Rey getting all her brand and stuff. And
I don't want the flashback to see her getting her brand. I want to see the branding iron. I want to see Fatso point the branding iron at her and say, "I own you," at some point, and I'll get to that.
Okay.
And she kind of cringes because she knows, and kind of reaches for her arm. Anyway, I'll get to that.
So she is a slave.
She is a slave.
Oh my gosh, Tim!
Here's Lightspeed.
No, I turned it on.
I never asked that question.
Sorry.
That's a really good Han Solo quote, by the way. Never ask that question until I've done it. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Rey is a slave. Owned by Fatso. She's doing his work. Then along comes this droid as she's eating dinner, right? It's going to be the same kind. It's very similar. She hears BB-8 being, picked on by, I want it to be a Jawa, but I know those are Tatooine, and so it can't be a Jawa. This is Jakku.
Yeah.
These have their little metalhead dudes,
Yeah.
whatever.
They're a distant cousin.
Anyway, the BB-8's getting captured by this thing, this metalhead, and Rey goes in and uses the Force. You will let him go. You will let the droid go, and he takes off. He just leaves BB-8 in the net.
And again, she's been practicing. She's like, and maybe we can just say like, you should let him go. And she's like, really maybe not the hand wave.
You should let it.
Like She's
him.
always found that she's good at persuading. Like she touches him. Like, you need to let him go, and like something like that.
It's like in Mistborn.
Yeah.
Right. Vin uses her quote unquote luck.
Her luck,
which is just allomancy. It's emotional allomancy, and she's able to alter emotions.
So I feel like that would have been a good thing. So if you're building up with a character who doesn't know their power, we don't need to do the hand waving yet.
No.
But then later on, maybe she could. Anyway, but yeah.
I think she points at him.
Ooh.
And then let him go.
Let him go. And he's like, yes, ma'am. And she's always like, I always like have such great words. Like, she's always like, So, okay.
And then she gets BB-8, fixes the antenna, because that's, it's iconic. Right?
Yeah.
She fixed the antenna. It's iconic.
And we're showing that she's good with tinkering.
And then she takes him back with her, and then I want the stormtroopers to show up again. In town. They're just in town. Straight up.
I'm new in town.
The stormtroopers show up and they say, we're looking for a droid. And Rey looks at BB-8. BB-8 kind of, whirs and makes his noises. And Rey is like, why are you running from them? Anyway. She gets that. BB-8 explains it to her that he's running from the stormtroopers, and then the stormtroopers spot them and come after them. They grab Rey, they grab BB-8, and they start hauling them off to their ship. Kylo Ren's not there.
Okay.
Kylo Ren's on his ship interrogating Poe.
Okay. So we're getting Rey getting kidnapped already. Okay. I like that a lot.
Different, though.
Okay.
And you'll see why here in 5 seconds.
Oh, I spoke too soon.
Another ship flies in.
Oh, dang.
Very recognizable ship.
Oh.
You see, flying in, you see a Republic-era Jedi cruiser fly in, just like the one that Anakin and Obi-Wan used to fly. You see a Jedi cruiser fly in, land, and the stormtroopers all stop, and they don't move for a moment. And you can see in this Jedi cruiser, and I want this Jedi cruiser to be green, like a dark forest green with maybe a couple red stripes, 5 red stripes on the wing.
Okay.
Because if you know, in episode 4, Luke is red 5. His X-wing is red 5, so it has the 5 red stripes on the wings.
Oh, yeah, it does. Oh my gosh.
I want the same 5 red stripes on the wing.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Anyway, maybe it's not green, just the red stripes, and it can be the green.
No, I like
Whatever.
the green. I like the green.
It's just Christmas colors.
Christmas.
And then you also see in the droid spot is your favorite droid. It's R2-D2. And the Force theme starts to play.
Okay.
Right? The classic Star Wars theme starts to play. Cockpit opens, and a hooded figure jumps out. Black robes, black hood, Walking forward, you don't see his face. You know exactly who it is.
So this is just kind of very similar to the Mandalorian season
Very,
2
very similar.
ending or season 1
I
ending?
think it was 1. I want to say it was 1. No,
No, it was season
It was 2.
2. It was 2.
it was 2.
Okay.
Yes. You see Luke Skywalker walk up. He uses the Force, and he just barely the wave of his hand, barely, right? They're all thrown aside. All of the stormtroopers thrown aside. Immense power, right? And they start shooting. And he draws his lightsaber and deflects all of them, and every single laser bolt kills a stormtrooper, and also sets Rey free and BB-8 free.
Man, we're getting Luke right off.
We're getting
the bat.
Luke right off the bat. I did not like waiting for Luke.
Okay, because this is Star Wars.
This is Star Wars, and I will say this is not nearly as far into the future. My pitch is not nearly as far into the future as
This movie.
I want it to be maybe a decade later.
Oh wow!
Just fairly new. Yeah. So Luke, Han, Leia, they're not.
Oh my gosh! So
old.
Ben Solo is a kid.
Ben Solo's a kid.
Oh dang!
Ben
I was
Solo,
imagining.
Ben Solo's a kid.
So how are you gonna have Adam Driver play him?
Later.
Okay, all right.
This is episode 7.
Oh shoot!
This is episode 7. In episode 8 or 9 or whatever, I'll come back to it, to this story, and we'll have Adam Driver. There's not going to be a relationship between.
Well, of course,
Rey
because
and
you're
Ben.
making Rey like.
Ray is going to be a younger teenager. I do want her to be younger. I want her to be maybe 14, 15, you know.
I mean, Anakin
About
and
as-
Padme were like older than you, so still could work.
That's true. That's
Sorry.
true. I think, what, 10, 15 years between the two?
Nah.
No, not quite that far.
Okay, I was
But
like.
anyway. But yeah.
So Luke Skywalker, the main man.
The main man. You see Luke.
We get
Classic Luke.
less like half an hour.
We're half hour into the movie. Okay. He comes in, he walks up to Rey, pulls back his hood, and you can see he's grown a little bit. He's a little bit older. His face is a little tiny bit more wrinkly, you know.
Got a beard growing or not?
No.
Dang,
Clean-
I was
clean-shaven.
imagining
Clean
aftershave,
shaven.
kind of tired looking Luke. Okay.
And he says he says, Rey Kenobi,
What?
I've been looking for you.
What? You are just throwing that right at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh. Tim,
I'm sorry.
you're gonna piss off a lot of people.
I am going to piss off a lot of people. Here's the thing.
We don't care.
Originally, she was going to be a Kenobi. Originally, she was going to be Kenobi.
That's why I'm so confused.
You're getting that now.
Okay, I like it.
You're getting that now.
Oh.
Rey Kenobi, I've been looking for you.
Oh.
BB, did you get the info? And BB-8 does his thing and
Little thumbs up.
Luke does the little thumbs up. I like that. I didn't think of that. Does the little thumbs up with the torch. And Luke smiles, turns back to Rey, and says, "Do you want to learn how to do what I just did?"
Oh, because he's nice.
He's nice.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm
well-
so used to Luke being this grouchy old dude now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I am liking
I
this.
don't like grouchy Luke.
No.
Luke is supposed to be loving. He's supposed to be caring, right?
I thought we're supposed to be no positive in this day and age. How come we're still saying that, a hero just withers out and die? Like, we look at Batman, we look at all these heroes. Superman does pretty okay, but most of the heroes nowadays, they just show them being sad. And I'm like, and if you live your life successfully, you can still be happy.
Mhm.
Yeah, you might have some regrets. You might have some mistakes you wish you would have made. But if you do life right, you can be a positive influence on those. Oh no, I am loving this. Sorry, that's how excited I am.
So yeah, Rey Kenobi, I've been looking for you. He knows her name.
Okay.
We'll find out later that it's because he's been talking to Obi-Wan. I feel like Obi-Wan and obviously, right, Anakin and Padme fell in love. They ended up having kids behind the backs of the Jedi Council and everybody else. I feel like Obi-Wan is reckless enough. Obviously, he's very good, pure man. I still think that he and Duchess Satine secretly got married. They had a kid.
Didn't she die?
She did die.
Isn't that the sister of the... Wait a minute. Isn't he in love with the man? Nope, I don't want to get too far into it.
Duchess Satine was the queen of the Duchess of Mandalore.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay. I don't know. Again,
This is
anyone listening is like, I can't believe I've never watched Rebels. Like, I'm sorry.
This is Clone Wars.
Oh, Clone Wars.
This is Clone Wars. This is the...
I didn't grow up with
latter half
cable, so yeah.
I didn't either. I've been watching it the last year and a half.
Oh, on Disney Plus. Okay, fine. I have no excuse. You know why? Because there's other shows I want to watch. Because I fell in love with anime this past year, and it's absorbed me. Anyway.
But yeah, I feel like I want them to have had a
Tim,
kid.
this is your pitch. You can do whatever you want.
I know. I just feel like I'm gonna make a lot of Star Wars nerds mad.
Or maybe some will go, oh.
Some of them will go.
I feel like some will be happy. A lot of people ship them. I know that.
I think Obi-Wan and Duchess Satine got married in private.
So in this world, she didn't die? Or she did?
She still died. This is still Star Wars.
Okay.
Everything in the past still happened. They had a kid. That kid was put into hiding by both of them. Said we.
So they pulled a Luke with the kid.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And this kid ends up.
What if?
And Obi-Wan is going to keep going to go visit every little bit until he dies.
What if he never knew though? What if you took in that angle? Because she didn't want him. What if she didn't want him to get distracted?
You're right.
Because I could
Obi-Wan could totally do the old Hermit Ben thing where he
didn't know.
spies. No, I want Obi-Wan to know.
Okay.
I want Obi-Wan to know. I don't want the kid to know. I'm changing what I had originally thought.
Okay, so not only is Ben Kenobi checking on Luke as a child, he checks in on his own.
On his own kid. And his own kid grows up, gets married, has a kid. And that kid ends up being Rey Kenobi. Not Rey Skywalker, not Rey Palpatine, Rey Kenobi.
Oh, I do not want to watch the 9th movie now. This is gonna be retconning my entire. I'm just gonna be like, this is the version, Tim. Your version better make me happy because this is gonna be the one I'm gonna live with.
I hope so. Yeah. So Rey Kenobi and how she was sold into slavery is, I want Obi-Wan's kid, who is Rey's parent, whatever gender, I don't care, and their spouse to have been killed by Tusken Raiders or something similar. Not Tusken Raiders, sorry, what are they called? Slavers.
The Sand People?
No, not the Sand People.
Oh, those guys?
No. Cut this part out.
Okay.
They're killed by slavers.
Okay.
I want Rey's parents to be killed by slavers, and they take Rey, and they sell Rey to Fatso. That's how Rey got there in the first place. That's why Rey is a slave.
So in the time period of it, if I can ask, how long between Ben dying and his child and in-law dying?
I kind of want it to be really, really close. But I also feel like just for continuity's sake, for timelines, right? Because I want Rey to be young at this point. I want her to be like 14, right? A couple years between the deaths. I feel like Obi-Wan dies, and then a couple years later, Rey's parents die.
So that means like Ben Kenobi thought that his child and his family was safe, and his obligation to Luke took precedent because he was the chosen one. And that means, you know, if he would have like lived with Anakin, I mean, Luke, he probably would have kept watch over it, but his son never, I'm going to say son, his son never knew about him. Yeah. But like, that means like he died thinking he was going to be okay. And then his child passes away, and then so that means he's sitting there in the Jedi afterlife like, oh, my sweet grandchild, I need her to be found. Oh!
Yep. I feel like as a Force ghost, Obi-Wan would obviously take care of Luke, right? But also would take care of his little boy, right? His kid. I'll get to that later. Actually, not too much later. Rey goes with Luke after Luke explains, you could become a Jedi. You could stop things like this. And he points at her brand, at her slave brand. You could stop things like this from happening to other people, to other innocent people. In all honesty, the Jedi are paladins, and that means that they are going to stick up for the little guy. They are there to protect the galaxy.
And Luke's been working on them being better because they were kind of falling short before Order 66. Okay,
for the Empire.
I like that a lot.
And the thing is, like, the whole thing that the Jedi stand for is bringing balance to the Force and peace to the galaxy. That's their thing. Right? And so Luke comes to Rey and says, you could be an agent in this. And Rey goes along and says, gladly. Anything to get me away from here. And I feel like she kind of likes the idea of being able to protect people who are like her. And Fatso's going to come along and say, you can't do that. I own her. And Luke is going to point at the First Order ship and say, there's your payment. Because he's just killed everybody. He's just killed all of the stormtroopers. So that means Fatso was sitting there like, oh, you can't take her. Even though they were going to come and massacre everyone, he's still trying to be like, oh my gosh. She's mine.
I can totally see that. That's hilarious.
And Luke points at the ship and says, that's yours. That's your payment. I'm taking this one. And Fatso's going to be like, fine, and turns around and walks away. Luke takes Rey back to Ossus, which is that planet that has his new Jedi Order.
Okay.
His Jedi temple that he builds, right, in Mandalorian, where he has the little ant droids or spider droids or whatever that are building the little hut. That planet.
Okay.
Same planet that he trains Grogu on. There will be a little Ben Kenobi with Princess Leia and Han Solo. I want Han Solo and Princess Leia to be together. They welcome Rey and Luke and R2 back. And I feel like this temple would be built very similar to kind of like the Mayan or Aztec pyramid temples. Built out of stone, made into pyramids, because the pyramid is the best siphon of power. And I feel like that would be a very good way to explain, okay, this is a Force hotspot. They're going to build the temple in a way that's going to siphon the power. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they're going to get back. Leia's going to say, did you get it? And Luke's going to say, well, kind of, pointing at BB-8. Then he's going to point or gesture to Rey and say, I also found someone who's very strong in the Force. And she needs a teacher.
Aww.
Uh-huh. You know exactly where this is going. And Leia is going to say, I think I got this one.
Aww.
Leia is going to teach Rey. Leia is going to be the master. Rey is going to be the Padawan.
Oh! Right? So does Leia have a lightsaber?
Yes.
What color?
It's blue.
Okay.
Right. I mean, you haven't seen episode 9, but in episode 9, Leia has a lightsaber and it's blue.
Oh. And
Rey takes it and buries it. If you haven't seen episode 9, go watch it.
I don't want
yeah, at the very end of the movie, Rey buries Luke's lightsaber and Leia's lightsaber.
Oh.
In the sand.
I've seen that.
Yeah. And then she ignites her yellow, which is a fitting color for her.
It is.
It is a very fitting color for Rey. Back to the story. They get back, and Han says, after Leia takes Rey, Han says, where are we going then? And Luke is going to gesture to the droid and say, let's go find out. And then they appear in a showroom. And before that, actually, we're going to pan back to Kylo Ren and Poe.
Okay, I forgot that we've only been so far.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about those two. But we're going to cut back to them, and we're going to Kylo Ren is going to be torturing Poe, and Poe is going to be Poe. He's not going to give up any answers, and Kylo Ren is going to be this bit will probably happen between Rey getting BB-8 and the Stormtroopers showing up.
Okay.
Just to show, okay, the Stormtroopers showed up because of Kylo Ren.
Okay.
Anyway, scene goes, Kylo Ren pries it out. And Poe doesn't divulge any secrets, but his mind betrays him to the Force. And so Kylo Ren is able to extract a little bit of information that information is in the droid. That's what Bob said. Besides, Bob kind of yelled it, so maybe he doesn't need to torture him for that. I don't know. I want the guard to be Finn.
Okay, I was wondering where Finn was at.
Watching over Poe, I want that to be Finn. And Finn is going to break him out and say, don't say anything, keep quiet, follow me, I'm getting you out. This is a rescue. They have their whole fiasco. The same, I want it to be very, very similar to what happens in the actual movie, right? Where they go and they steal a TIE fighter and they take off. Instead of crashing, I want Poe to be able to expertly maneuver, right, the TIE fighter, and they make it to the rebel base. Not to the rebel base, to Ossus, to the Jedi Order. And in that flight, I want to explore a little bit of Finn's background. I want him to have been kidnapped as a child and to have been raised in the First Order, but be against everything they stood for. So he was always either a guard or a janitor. Yeah, and this is all happening in episode 8, we see the Dreadnought, right? The massive Star Destroyer.
Yes.
That is the base of operations. It's not Starkiller Base. Starkiller Base doesn't exist.
Okay.
For one sole purpose. Starkiller Base was built into the planet Ilum, which in the Clone Wars, you'll learn is the planet where younglings get their kyber crystals.
Oh, okay. I was scared for a second.
Where younglings
like
meet
are tortured,
Anakin Skywalker,
or like tortured or something.
No.
I don't know Star Wars. I was like, is this where they torture them or what?
This is where younglings get their kyber crystals to build their lightsabers.
Oh, didn't they? Isn't the
whole point of them building Starkiller Base into Ilum is because of the kyber crystals?
Oh, they basically made a giant lightsaber that shoots.
In a way.
It's
the Death Star was built the same way. It was massive kyber crystals to direct the.
That's right, because that's why they were mining it in Rogue One. Okay.
There were 13 kyber crystals on the Death Star. Those were the 13 lasers that met and then blasted planets to pieces. So Starkiller Base doesn't exist.
Okay, I honestly like that. I thought that Starkiller Base was
It's literally the Death Star.
It's
the Death Star all over again. I don't want the Death Star. I want something bigger. I want something better. I want something
worse.
Oh
my gosh, what is it, Tim? If you say we're gonna save that for part 2, I'll kill you.
Oh, what? It's almost 9. Might have to.
Oh my gosh.
Might have to.
Oh, maybe we should.
We'll keep going. I will cut it off at that point.
Okay, tell me what this thing is.
So, Finn and Poe escape. Kylo Ren is gonna have a tracker in every single TIE fighter, right?
Yeah.
Just so that he knows where his men are. Kylo Ren shows up in this massive dreadnought, and Luke is going to say, well, I gotta back up. Holy cow. I just jumped way far ahead. Those Poe and Finn show up. BB-8 starts freaking out, rolls over to Finn. Poe. Poe is super happy to see his little buddy again. And then Poe introduces Finn to Luke and Leia and all of them. And Finn is like, you mean the Luke, the Leia, the Han Solo, the Chewbacca. The heroes
who blew up the Death Star. Like everyone knows who Luke, Han,
everybody
and Chewie,
knows who they are.
Except Chewie, he didn't get a medal.
No, he didn't. Maybe that'll change. No. So they go in and they start talking about what this key is. And Poe says, Jedi Bob said that BB knows where it's at. And Luke will say, yep, he showed us. And it's going to be a diagram of a star system, and they will have to follow this star system. And the key that they end up collecting is going to be a droid. It's going to be an assassin droid, an IG unit.
Oh.
The IG assassin droid, the bounty hunter one.
Is that the one that tries to kill Grogu? Okay, I honestly like that droid a lot. Same model. Sorry, not the droid.
Same
but
model.
It's the same model.
That's going to be the key, and they're going to have to go through. And Kylo Ren is going to come, and he's going to face them. He's going to find them, and he's going to get the key first. He's going to get the droid. Activate the droid. The droid is going to follow his orders because the droid was programmed to follow the orders of whoever got to it first.
Now
this is going to be very important.
Now I'm curious who made it.
Emperor Palpatine made it.
Oh, wow. You're telling me right off the bat. Okay.
Uh-huh. So, I guess I don't have to save this for part 2. Luke shows up, faces off against Kylo Ren, injures Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren runs with the droid. At this point, I feel like Kylo Ren probably could have killed somebody important to the story. I don't know. I don't know who I want to end up killing at this point in the story. I
was scared you were going to kill off Luke.
No, I'm not killing off Luke.
Okay.
Luke is the freaking hero, okay?
You have Darth Vader, and then right up behind, most recognizable person, probably, Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
Like, I can't, okay, maybe Darth Vader, Anakin, then Luke.
Obi-Wan,
maybe.
Emperor Palpatine.
Do it. Anyway.
I am the Sith. I am the ultimate power.
But yeah, so this was a whole... So Luke will defeat Kylo Ren, but Kylo Ren will run with half a lightsaber. With half of his double.
Oh.
Right? Luke will pull an Obi-Wan, cut the lightsaber in half, and he'll go for the same move that Obi-Wan did against Darth Maul. Mm. This will freak out the audience. The audience knows exactly what's coming. And Kylo Ren blocks it. And he says, I heard about that trick from my master. He's going to kick Luke. No, Darth Maul is not the big baddie.
Dang it.
Darth Maul's not the big bad. I set you up.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
You teased me.
I teased you.
And I hate you for it. I got excited.
Kylo Ren is going to run with the droid. Escape. Luke can't do much about it. Luke's got other things to worry about. I think Luke is going to have to tend to an injured friend, right? One of his friends, one of his D&D party have been injured, and he is the paladin who can heal them. You know, he's the one that needs to be there to help.
Okay.
Something's going to happen. I can figure that out later. Finn, Poe, and Leia are going to be talking and ask, and Rey is going to ask, because obviously Rey is Leia's Padawan. She's going to go everywhere Leia goes. Mm-hmm. Rey is going to ask, what is that key? What are we looking for? And Luke is going to look at them, because everybody's wondering the same thing. Luke is the only one that knows exactly what they're looking for. And Luke is going to tell them a story. Luke is going to say, all right, sit down. Story time.
Okay.
On Mustafar, I found Vader's castle, right? Because Darth Vader had his castle on Mustafar.
Yeah, because it was a constant reminder of where he failed.
And Luke goes, and he's going to end up encountering a droid that is going to explain some plans. This droid is going to be a potential replacement for Darth Vader that the Emperor gave Darth Vader as a reminder that Vader could fail.
Okay. Oh.
This droid also has some information about this plan that Emperor Palpatine has. Emperor Palpatine is not going to be I'm not going to clone him or anything.
Okay.
Emperor Palpatine's not coming back physically. He cannot come back as a living being.
But
I think in Clone Wars, we do see that Darth Bane, long past Sith, talks to Yoda through a Sith artifact.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that episode. That was pretty cool.
Good episode.
And Mark Hamill was the voice of him. I loved it.
Spoiler alert for my pitch. Kylo Ren is going to have a Sith artifact of Palpatine's, and that's That's his master. Emperor Palpatine is speaking to Kylo Ren through this Sith artifact.
Okay, I like that a lot more than a clone.
Right? It just fits the Sith aesthetic a little bit better, you know?
So, you know when Kylo...
I think it could be one of Emperor Palpatine's Electrum lightsabers.
It could be... I think it
Cool that
definitely
would be.
or something, because...
Something.
Like, because Kylo Ren in this movie talks to Vader's melted helmet.
Uh-huh.
I will finish what you started. And to have an artifact, and it could be Vader's helmet.
No. Vader's helmet is seen... I'm going to have Vader's helmet seen in the Jedi Temple, among other artifacts, including Obi-Wan's lightsaber
Oh.
and Obi-Wan's robe
Okay.
together. And
So we want
other
to...
artifacts.
Okay. So something could be his lightsaber. He could be using... So he could have Emperor Palpatine's lightsaber always attached to his hip.
He could.
And
I
that's
think that
what's
could be-
always...
That could be it. I didn't think that far ahead.
Could be his robe.
Could be.
There's a lot of stuff.
But
Not a lot. But
yeah,
I think the infusion, the artifact, I think that's good. I
his
think
Sith alchemy is what creates those Sith artifacts.
yeah.
And like,
Did
they're in-
Palpatine make a Horcrux? Is that what you're saying?
no.
Okay.
No. I mean, kind of, but no. He doesn't come back physically. Ever. He is... That Sith artifact is everything that Palpatine knew in life and nothing more. It can't learn anything except for anything that has to do with his plan.
Okay.
Right? Anyway.
So dark. It absorbs a sun to shoot.
Uh-huh.
I can't stand it. I'm sorry. I can't.
Well, and
It was-
when Starkiller Base explodes, it becomes the star again.
I thought that was cool. But like,
It was pretty
it was just a lot. It was, and I get it that the order is like, we need to step up our game, but I
Mhm.
kind of like how you're thinking more along the lines of, nah, we're gonna just try to bring the Sith back or something like
No.
that. No,
No.
no,
Nope. Something better. You'll see. You'll have to see that in part 2.
Okay, then we are definitely so
We have to do a part
we
2.
have to do a part 2. So we have changed everything. So we've changed the time setting. Rey is a teenager. I think Ben and her should be closer in age.
Okay.
So I think teenager would still be good.
Yeah, I guess.
So maybe let's say 15 to I think 15 to 20 years still okay.
Yeah. Maybe Rey could be like 16 or 17. Ben could be 14.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And because they
little
could
bit
still
closer.
have like he's like crushing on the older girl type cheesiness, and we're all like rolling
Yeah.
our eyes because teen boy and Leia's there, and
I also don't want him to be angsty.
yeah,
I don't like the angsty crybaby tantrum throwing baby. Anyway, but yeah, Luke is going to be telling the story of how he encountered a droid, and this droid explains that another droid, his counterpart, this droid's counterpart, it'll be another IG droid. This droid's counterpart is the key to finding Emperor Palpatine's Sith holocron.
What's a holocron?
A holocron, for those of you who don't know, and you'll learn this in Clone Wars. You should really watch Clone Wars.
Okay, fine.
But a holocron is a cube or a pyramid about the size of it fits in your hand. Right?
Yeah.
And it can only be opened by a Force user,
Okay.
and it can contain a message, or it can contain a map, anything like that. This is going to be a Sith holocron, and it is. I'm not gonna tell you what it's for yet. It's a Sith holocron, so it's going to be the pyramid one, the red pyramid. And Luke is gonna say if Kylo Ren gets his hands on that Holocron, the entire galaxy is doomed. I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up for tonight.
Oh my gosh! But okay. So next time
we'll do Morbius, and then the time after we'll hit episode or part 2 of this.
Part 2,
or do we want to do part 2 next week? We could just knock it out of the park. Just finish up.
We will surprise you guys.
We'll surprise you.
We will surprise you.
You don't know what you're getting.
You don't know what you're getting. Life is not like a box of chocolates right now because you ate. Wait, no, it is. It is like a bite.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're gonna get.
That's good.
Well, with that being said, we thank you all for listening, and thank you, Tim, for your pitch so far.
Thanks for helping me, because like I said, I spent 5 hours today just trying to rewrite this over and over and over, and so you helping me write this is good.
And I want you to do the same when I do. Like, this is what I imagine this podcast being, and I hope I didn't take too many liberties, but I just don't want us falling into traps. I want you to call out when I make something that's lame, or I'm not saying what you did was lame, but you know what I mean? We just go, what if?
Yeah. And I like that. The what ifs helps.
But so far, how I see Little Rey, like the idea of her having that slave brand, the idea of
it's gonna hit the feels a little bit because it reminds you. I'm trying to hit on the nostalgia factor with Anakin Skywalker being a slave when he was a little boy. Right? That's
okay. That's okay to do that. Mm-hmm. And I know that's what this movie was trying to do. And it did a few things that it did hit successfully in the fields, but for the most part, though, that's a little different because it's a little fact that's so obscure, but yet we remember the pain the slave trade brought us as a Star Wars audience.
Yeah.
He massacred those raiders when we find, his mom. That scene I can't think about too much. And then to know what he does in the third movie to mirror that scene is... Oh, okay, I will keep going. I killed them all. I killed them all. I am not in depth to Star Wars as some of you who are listening, but there are a few things that I will go off on about all day, and Luke Skywalker is one of them. And Tim's version of Luke is a version of Luke that I absolutely love, because I agree, that's how I would see Luke. Just him sitting down, getting up into her face. Do you want to learn how to do what I just did? Yeah. Okay, let's go. And just, that's how Luke would be. Kind.
Yeah. It's like, it's an offer. It's not a threat. Like, you want to learn what I just did?
Yeah.
It's an invitation. It's an open invitation. And
he's turned into... Oh, anyway, no, we'll keep going on. So, next week, everyone, we'll surprise you. You're either going to get Morbius from me or part 2 from Tim.
Yep.
But with that being said, thank you all for listening. And until then, see you later, pitches.